Chapter 4 The Rajput Age Part 2. Fourth, many Rajput rulers of Chauhan or Chauhan dynasty ruled over various parts of Rajasthan during 7th and 8th century CE of them. One branch ruled over Shakambari, a place near Lake Sambhar, which is to the north of Ajmer in the beginning of 8th century. Now they are saying in Rajasthan, Chauhan Dynasty. We popularly known them as Chauhan Dynasty, ruled during 7th and 8th century. And one of their branch ruled over Shakambari. It's a place near a lake Sambhara, which is to the north of Ajmer. In the beginning, Ajay Raj ascended the throne of Shakambari in 12th century. He established the city of Ajay Meru, which later came to be known as Ajmer. So this Chauhan dynasty ruled in Rajasthan in 7th and 8th century. One of their branch is from Shakambari, which is near to the lake and to the north of near to the lake Sambhar and north to the Ajmer. And this Ajay Raj ascended the throne of Shakambari. Ascended the throne means what? Taken the throne of Shakambari and established the city Ajay Meru. Ajay Meru is now popularly known as Ajmer. The rule of Chauhan dynasty captured Delhi. Now what happened? Everyone know and relate this entire dynasty to the dynasty of Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay. He is a greatest ruler of this entire dynasty. So what happened? The rulers of Chauhan dynasty captured Delhi. That time Delhi was being ruled by the Tomar kings and established their supremacy. Prithviraj III or Rai Pithori was a powerful ruler of a Chauhan dynasty. Many stories and folk songs have been written about his bravery on the battlefield. Chand Bardai, a famous poet, has written about Prithviraj Chauhan valor in his epic Prithviraj Rausa. We shall learn about the battle between Prithviraj Chauhan and Shahabuddin Muhammad Gori later. Now what has happened? How we will remember this entire thing of Chauhan dynasty? Now what happened? First point, Chauhan dynasty is also known as a Chahman dynasty. Okay, it has been ruled in 7th and 8th century, and one of their branch is Shakambari, which is near to the lake Sambhar, which is north to the Ajmer. Ajay Raj ascended the throne of Shakambari and established a new city Ajay Meru, which is known as Ajmer. Later on, Chauhan dynasty captured Delhi, which was being ruled by which king? Tomar kings. Okay, and established their supremacy. They have declared their power. Prithviraj III or Rai Pithoria was a powerful ruler of Chauhan dynasty. Prithviraj III was the very powerful ruler of the Chauhan dynasty. Now many many songs, stories and folk songs is been written on Prithviraj Chauhan. Amongst them, Chand Bardai, he is the famous poet, okay, who has written about the bravery of Prithviraj Chauhan in his epic Prithviraj Rausa. So name of the writer of about Prithviraj Chauhan written by Chand Bardai is the Prithviraj Rausa. And we will also be knowing about his bravery, Prithviraj Chauhan's bravery with his battle with Shahabuddin Muhammad Gori in our next historic chapter. Okay, let's move ahead. The Gohils of Mewar, who were later known as the Sisodia Rajput. Now these Gohils of Mewar were later known as the Sisodia Rajput, and they have a very unique position in a medieval history. It is said that Bappa Rawal established this entire dynasty. Now you understand that Gohil is also known as Guhils. They were also known as a Sisodia Rajput. And who established it? So Bappa Rawal was the person who has established this dynasty. The Chedi dynasty ruled over Jabalpur, which is to the south of river Narmada. It is known as Chedi dynasty of Kalachuri, with its capital as Tripuri. Now present day we call it Tewar. Okay, so this is the small description of this entire dynasty. It is there. So this Chedi dynasty ruled where? So it ruled at Jabalpur. Now this Jabalpur, which is to the south of the river Narmada, it is also known as Chedi dynasty of Kalachuri, and its capital is Tripuri, which is present day known as Tewar. In the medieval era in Gujarat, the Rajput dynasty of the Chavdas, followed by the Solanki, ruled over Ahilwada Patan. There were many violent rulers of this dynasty about whom we will study later. Okay, now this is the only thing, that Chavda dynasty, which was what followed by the Solanki rulers, ruled over Ahilwada in the Patan, and we will be studying about them more in detail in the next chapter. So this was all about northern dynasties. Now we will see about the southern dynasties. Okay, children, now we will see the other dynasties which were in the southern India. So the first dynasty is Pallava dynasty. Narasimhavarma was a strong ruler of a Pallava dynasty. The emperors of this dynasty were the lovers of art and literature. The Kailashnath temple of Kanchi is the best example of Pallava architecture. Now in this Pallava dynasty, Narasimhavarma was a very strong ruler, and the kings of these dynasty were the lover of art and literature. They give very due respect to the art and literature, and they were fond of it. Okay, and the best example of their love towards art and literature is the temple of Kailashnath of Kanchi. Okay, second is the Chola dynasty. So the Chola dynasty also ruled in southern, and Tanjore was their capital. The ruler of Chola dynasty attacked Ceylon and annexed many territories. Now Ceylon is an island. The Chola had a powerful navy, because of which they could attack the countries even across the sea. Rajaraj I adapted a very systematic way of administration in his state. He started with the measurement of the land and local self government. So this Chola dynasty had a very huge and very powerful navy. The dynasties that we have seen till now, none of the dynasty was been mentioned that they had a strong navy, but this Chola dynasty had a very strong navy. And Rajaraj I, he was known for his a very systematic administration in the state, systematic flow of functioning in his state. And he started with the measurement of the land and local self government. Okay, so Chola dynasty seems to be a very progressive dynasty that we have seen till now. So these were the two dynasties. Let's move ahead and see third one, Rashtrakutas. The Rashtrakutas ruled southern India. With the fall of Chalukya dynasty, Rashtrakuta came to power. Rashtrakuta means the head of the state or area. It is believed that the founder of the dynasty was an officer of that community, and hence the dynasty was named after him. Out of many rulers, Govind III was the most powerful king. In the 8th century, he established a powerful kingdom in the Deccan. Now they says after the fall of Chalukya dynasty, Rashtrakuta came into the power, and the meaning of Rashtrakuta itself means the head of the state or area, and the dynasty was named on it. That means the head of the state of an area. and Govind III was the most powerful kingdom amongst all, and they established a very powerful kingdom in the Deccan. Deccan is the place. The Pandyas also ruled over southern India. The Pandya dynasty is believed to be a very ancient. Megasthenes, the Greek traveler, noticed that the female used to rule in this community. The inscriptions of Emperor Ashok also contains references to the Pandyas. The Pandyas ruled in the present-day Madurai and Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. Now, what is now in all the dynasties that we have seen, this is the only dynasty, Pandya dynasty, where we have heard that women in those times used to rule in this community. And the Greek traveler Megasthenes, he was a Greek traveler. He has also mentioned in his note, and Emperor Ashok inscriptions. Inscriptions means the things that he has written. Okay, in those inscriptions, in his writings also, it has been mentioned that women used to rule in this dynasty. This is a very progressive, seems to be a very progressive dynasty. Okay, and this Pandya ruled in the present time Madurai and Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu. So these data to be remembered about these southern Indian dynasties is very easy. Now fifth one, Cheras ruled over southern India. Chera is now known as Kerala. In ancient time, Kerala was a part of the Tamil state. Later on, Kerala or a Malayalam state separated. In current times, these Chera dynasty ruled over in southern India, which is in current times known as Kerala. And later on, the Tamil and Malayalam speaking states got separated. Okay. Now, Kepalputra Rajya is mentioned in the inscription of Ashoka, and Ethan too was the first strong ruler of this dynasty. Chera Sethuguvan was a powerful ruler of this dynasty. So the Ethan II and the Cheran Sethuguvan was the powerful ruler of this dynasty. So these are the dynasties that we have seen in the northern India as well as in the southern India, and this Chera dynasty was the last dynasty of this chapter to be discussed. And here we end our chapter 4, the Rajput age. Okay, now these data are very simple to understand, as in the beginning of the video I have shared, that you understand it in the form of the story so that everything becomes easy for you to remember. So we end our chapter over here. Thank you.